What movie do you consider perfect? Hot Fuzz. Not a single line of dialogue is wasted in that movie. Everything is significant and comes back into play later on. Can't find anyone saying 12 Angry Men. Original or remake? Trick question. They're both very good. I did not know they made a remake. Thank you for giving me something to watch when I get home tonight. Alien. Aliens 2. Then stop. I saw Aliens first and loved it, then went back and watched Alien and thought it a lesser film because I was expecting the action of the sequel. It was okay, just not as good. Then I saw Alien 3 and hated it. Next, I spent a decade or two growing up and my taste in films changed. I rewatched from the beginning. Oh wow, Alien is great. The suspense, the horror. Aliens is a cool action flick, I guess, but a very different film. Alien 3, oh boy, this really takes it back to the beginning. The sense of powerlessness and isolation. Add to that the tension Ripley feels not being able to trust the inmates. Brilliant. I think it might be my favorite now. Alien Resurrection sucks though. The Iron Giant. I'm not a gun. I was not ready for this punch in the soul. The Hunt for Red October. Believable characters. Believable tech even for the one bleeding edge thing that underpins the whole movie. Deaths are few and significant. Very little in the way of special effects, so what is there doesn't screw things up too badly. It's a repeat watch for me. I would like to have seen Montana. The hardest part about playing chicken is knowing when to flinch. Airplane. This is one of those movies that's the equivalent of the Bulmer Peak. If the comedy broke just a little or the timing was off, it would be really bad. Instead, it's comedic genius from Mrs. Brady being the only one who could speak jive to all the exterior shots of a jet that has propeller noises. Edit. Thank all 300 of you who have correctly pointed out that it was Mrs. Cleaver. I've been watching that movie for decades and only now noticed the propeller thing. That's hilarious. The Shawshank Redemption. This is because, before anything, it is written exceptionally well. Every sequence, every scene, every beat is captivating. This is so true. So many movies feel like there is filler, and your attention starts to wander. Everything in the movie is as it should be, and it all is done extremely well, with good timing. Back to the Future, the first one, though I do enjoy the other two. The dialogue is brilliantly tight, the acting is incredible, and the story, while bizarre, is original and executed flawlessly and includes some truly iconic sequences. The skateboard chase scene, the insane bedroom scene with his mom, the parking lot knockout, the Johnny B. Good sequence, etc. Also, the whole aesthetic of the movie is one big masterpiece. The set pieces, the cinematography, the soundtrack, it all fits together as one. When I think of movie magic, this is one of the movies that comes to mind. Goodfellas. One of the few movies where I'm completely engaged the entire way through. I've seen Scorsese say that he wanted it to be like a movie trailer that just kept on going. John Carpenter's The Thing. It's the perfect blend of isolation, paranoia, bloody horror, practical effects, and a shape-shifting alien. Princess Bride. A lot because of its broad appeal. Everyone from age 5 to 90 can enjoy it. Kinda like Lego. Once you turn 91 plus you can never enjoy it again. The best is watching it with an 8 to 10-year-old boy, cause he'll react exactly the same as the boy in the movie. Studio Ghibli movies. Spirited Away is my particular favorite. One of Miyazaki's masterpieces. When you watch his early films and read his interviews from the 80s and 90s, you get the sense that he was building for something he had in his head, but hadn't gotten to the point where he felt he could put it on screen. I feel that Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle are the culmination of that work. Princess Mononoke is better than any Disney princess movie. Die Hard. Perfect action movie. Also, Alan Rickman. Edit. Yippee-ki-yay. I got gold for mentioning the best Christmas movie ever. Thank you. Every single shot, every single line has a purpose. Nothing is wasted, except bad guys, I guess, and it all has a purpose that pays off at some point. Threat Level Midnight. Wall, you know you like a film when you bother to actually have the dot in the title. For some reason my flatmate's girlfriend hates Wall-E, and every time we talk about bad Pixar film she talks like it's an obvious answer, despite the fact that 2/3 of the room disagree with her. Raiders of the Lost Ark is the perfect action movie for me. The intro to Indiana Jones in the jungle is perfect, even with little dialogue. The pacing is great, the characters are solid, the humor is natural, the environments are diverse, and the music is unforgettable. Just an awesome, fun time. I love Raiders, but I feel like there are a lot of developments that happen in it just because. Indy and Marion used to have a relationship. Now Marion hates him, until the next scene, where she decides that she doesn't. Indy is a skeptic who doesn't believe in God, until the end of the movie, where he suddenly thinks that he and Marion should close their eyes when the Nazis open the Ark. There's a point A and a point B, but there isn't a whole lot about what happens in between these two major character developments. On the other hand, you know what movie does this really well? The Last Crusade. That whole movie is about Indy and Henry Sr. mending a broken relationship and learning to respect one another. We see why they don't get along throughout the whole movie, yet they both share multiple moments that bring them closer. So when Indy's dad calls him Indiana and tells him to let the Grail go, that moment is totally earned. Two great movies. One is an iconic classic, but the other is perfect in my opinion. Let's not forget the awkward bond of Junior and Senior realizing they are Eskimo brothers. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I recently watched this. What makes it great is that it feels like a parody of modern day fantasy despite being almost 50 years old. Edit. I thought it came out in 1971. It actually came out in 1975. So it's still quite a while until it's 50 years old. Some watery tart distributing swords is no basis for a system of government's supreme executive power derives from a mandate of the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. I mean, if I went around calling myself emperor because some moistened bint lobbed a scimitar at me, they'd put me away. Jurassic Park. Took me too long to find this. I totally agree. Perfect balance of wonderment and fear, comedy and suspense, action and emotion. Not to mention special and practical effects years ahead of their time. Good Will Hunting. I love the scene where Ben Affleck tells him his best part of his day, where Will leaves no goodbye, and how he has a gift and owes it to those around him to use it. Such a powerful scene. Oh brother, where art thou? Hands down. Office Space. The Room. Getting 0/100ths on a multiple choice test is still a type of perfect score, and the same thing is true for Tommy Wiseau. Does not receive high marks. Pirates of the Caribbean. The Curse of the Black Pearl. That's not to say it's actually all that good a film, but it does everything it sets out to do. Fun without being childish, clever without being pretentious, dark without being grim, and a killer soundtrack. The Curse of the Black Pearl was one of the last movies where I got that classic fun adventure movie feel. The kind you get from movies like Indiana Jones, The Mummy, 1999, Princess Bride, and plenty of cheesy 80s adventure flicks that I don't remember right now. That's a good way of putting it. I feel sort of the same way. The ending of an era. Fellowship of the Ring. Honestly, all three of them are amazing. I sort of consider all three to be one big movie. Stand By Me, first R-rated movie I ever watched, though it was dumb. Years later I realized coming of age movies are a lot more engaging when you've grown up. I never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone? That quote fucks me up every time. Groundhog Day. The Matrix. Yup. They should never have made sequels. The first one stood alone as a monument, with a perfect ending. No Country for Old Men. The fact I've only seen this movie once, nearly 2 years ago, and still think back on it and feel really uncomfortable speaks volumes to how effective it was. Heard a story that real psychiatrists were analyzing movie psychopaths, and Javier Bardem's character in the movie was said to be the perfect psychopath. The character was that good. Richard Dreyfuss legitimately hated Bill Murray on set. Julie Haggerty is a comic genius. Charlie Corsmo puts in a child performance for the ages, and for bonus a young Katharina from Law and Order. Dreyfuss in an interview said that Bill Murray got drunkenly belligerent, yelled at the top of his lungs to Dreyfuss, "Nobody likes you," and then threw a glass ashtray at Richard Dreyfuss's head. I'm partial to believe Dreyfuss, as I've heard similar stories about Bill Murray, but I'm also partial in believing what Murray said was accurate, because I've heard countless stories regarding actors who hated working with Dreyfuss. Murray and Chase hated each other on Caddyshack. Believe that was a big part of what made the dynamic work. The first Blues Brothers. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We have a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark and we are wearing sunglasses. One of the best exchanges of dialogue in film happens early in the movie. Elwood, shit. Jake, what? Elwood, rollers. Jake, no. Elwood, yep. Jake, shit. So simple, but conveys significant amounts about the characters. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell to turn on notifications, so you'll be sure to know when the next video comes out. Want to watch some more? Check out my other videos. I really do appreciate everyone who helps make these videos possible. And as always, thanks for watching.